He really is such a sweet child. I remember one time we were playing hide and seek. Oh, what was that candy? Gumdrop. That's right, Gumdrop. My darling left me a trail of gumdrops so that I could find my way to him. I wonder where he is now. I wonder what he's thinking. But I know he'll find his way back to us.
Hello friends and welcome for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out Gumdrop. It is a game from the Global Game Jam 2014, a first-person platformer, and one with a surprisingly strange and interesting premise, and one that I can't really explain too much of without spoiling the game. It's super short. Will probably only take about maybe 3 to 5 minutes to get through this one, but it's definitely one that I think is worth experiencing because it's just really well done, excellent use of audio, and a theme that is somewhat discordant from what you would expect. So we're in an empty white field of a room, which is now filled with gumdrops. You heard a woman's voice earlier talking about a child and how she was in a situation playing hide and seek with him, and he left a trail of gumdrops for her. So this is I guess sort of like a memory or something that we're enacting here. There is going to be a bit of narration in this one. I'll try my best to try and be quiet through those moments so that way I don't interrupt too much, but I think I will have to inevitably talk over her a few times. But that's not too big of a deal, hopefully. I try to make it louder than normal, and hopefully the foot sounds don't end up going over my voice, but let's see.
Do something! What's happening? Why aren't you doing anything?
So we find ourselves in this very large, sort of like a circus tent sort of scenario here with some gears all around, and I'm not sure if this is actually supposed to be a circus tent. Maybe it's more like a fruit stripe gum type thing.
Why aren't you doing anything?
And once we get up on top of this, things start to get rather ominous and quite creepy, in fact. So instead of turning sideways, the gears actually seem to be undulating and going up and down, creating a pattern that we're going to have to jump across. And it's starting to remind me a little bit of like American McGee's Alice or something. And almost to the level where it seems a little bit horrific, which the whole ground is now filled up with some sort of a strange globule type thing. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but I suppose probably some kind of a candy, since that's our theme here. Alright, so now we've been transported to another circus tent-like area.
I'll do whatever it takes.
And the woman's voice is now pleading. There's a 50-cent sign here. Oh, and we can click on this and it seems to activate.
Please, take everything I have.
So there's this great juxtaposition of the game being rather terrifying in a certain way, while also being, like, kind of cute and silly, both at the same time. So, a little bit of levity, perhaps, while also being rather foreboding and creepy. And the ceiling is actually falling down and about to crush us, so that's kind of a thing. And there we go. We've grabbed a bunch of the money. The coins have all been obtained, and now it gets a little bit lighter. And it looks like we're raising up now to find another platform up here. Alright, she's now crying. And there seems to be some kind of candy coming from the ceiling. If I touch any of these larger ones, they actually kill me.
I just don't want him to suffer any longer.
And now it sounds like she's made peace with whatever's going on. So there's a room here filled with candy. Generally a pretty good mood in this room. It seems like things are much happier. They're not in a state of flux. There's not much dynamic stuff going on. We're all just basically standing around. We can walk through the stuff we really want to. And then there's a door and a candy cane. Can't do anything with the door, so I guess really all we have is to just take the candy cane. And as you might have expected, it takes a bit of a grim end, unfortunately. So it turns out we were actually sort of operating from the perspective of a young boy who might have been unconscious or in a coma, and the mother was standing by his bedside, going through the process of grief or, coping with the situation at hand. It's a surprisingly sad game. I didn't really expect when I started it that anything that could be filled with all this, bright colors and happy-looking everything just could end up being such a sad game, which is kind of why I wanted to bring it to your attention. I thought that was kind of a cool thing to see, and I thought it was executed very well. I wish it was a bit longer, but the game design jam that it was made for was, I believe it was a 48-hour game jam, so they didn't have a whole lot of time. In fact, they even mentioned in the description on the game's page that they didn't even have time to code menus in or anything like that. So when you want to quit this one, you actually have to like click the X on the top or Alt F4. I'm kind of used to it at this point. I do a lot of game jam games, so it's not really that big of a deal. But I just thought this was kind of a cool idea, well done, great use of sound, pretty cool visuals. I think the whole thing definitely had a pretty nice cohesiveness to the whole package of it. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, I wish it was a little bit longer, and I kind of wish there was a few more twists and turns to things, because I really enjoyed the symbolism of how going through each one of these rooms ended up being sort of like one component of, this process that we're going through. We started out in a very open white room, a completely blank space, and little by little we sort of built up a passage through what started out as maybe a memory or just a very vague notion into something very concrete, and I think the metaphorical stuff going on there is very neat. So anyway, short video, sorry about that, but hopefully you enjoyed this one anyway. Gumdrop is going to be free if you want to try it yourself. Might be a fun thing to have a discussion with a friend. You can go ahead and grab it. Link's going to be in the description if you like. You can actually play it either online or through a downloadable executable. Either way is fine. And of course, if you're in the description, feel free to check out some of my other social media information, stuff like my Twitter, my Facebook, my Twitch page, or of course, indie-impressions.com, my website where you can check out a new indie game every single day, and they're all sortable for you so you can find exactly what you're looking for. So thank you everybody for watching. I hope you'll come back again tomorrow. Feel free to leave a little bit of support if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Thanks very much. Talk to you tomorrow.